Okay, so let's get right into it. We've all been there, right? You get that one brilliant, world-changing idea that just pops into your head. But how do you go from that little spark to something real, something that actually works? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how you can test your big idea before you go all in.
And just so you know, the core ideas we're talking about today are sourced from the amazing folks over at Flying Wings Online School. They're all about teaching practical, real-world skills. All right, so let's start right here. You've got that idea, and it feels electric. It feels like a guaranteed hit. You can already see it succeeding, can't you? You're absolutely convinced it's what the world has been waiting for.
But what if I told you that very feeling, that absolute certainty, is actually the most dangerous part of this whole journey? It's kind of harsh, I know, but most brilliant ideas never actually make it. And the reason why is, well, it's surprisingly simple.
This brings us to the fundamental problem, the one that trips up so many amazing ideas. It's not about a lack of passion, and it's not about a lack of hard work. It's about a critical mistake made right at the very beginning.
And there it is, the single biggest reason for failure. We fall in love with our own solution. We spend months, sometimes years, building this perfect thing in a bubble, only to launch it and find out that nobody actually wanted it. We built something based on a guess, not on real-world evidence.
And wow, the cost of guessing wrong is just enormous. It's not just that the idea itself might fail. It's all the time you'll never get back, all the money that just goes up in smoke, and honestly, the crushing feeling of building something that doesn't really help anyone.
So how do we avoid that trap? It all starts by facing the most dangerous things in any new project, your own assumptions. See, our brains are literally wired to agree with ourselves. We look for proof that we're right. And these hidden beliefs, these facts we haven't tested, they can steer you right off a cliff.
Let's be super clear about what an assumption is. It's something you believe is true, but you have zero actual proof that it is. It's basically a guess that you're treating like a fact. And your big, brilliant idea, it's probably built on a whole pile of them.
And just look at these common assumptions. They sound totally normal, right? Of course people are going to pay for this. Or, my course is exactly what students need. But are you sure? Have you proven it? Each one of these is a huge risk that you have to test, not just trust.
Okay, so if we can't just trust our gut, what are we supposed to do? This is where one of the most powerful ideas in business comes into play. The minimum viable product. You've probably heard it called the MVP.
Now don't let that fancy name fool you. An MVP is just the smallest, simplest, most bare-bones version of your idea that you can create to start learning from actual people. It is not your final product. Think of it as a tool for a science experiment.
I absolutely love this quote because it gets straight to the point. This is your new mantra. The goal of an MVP isn't to build something perfect and packed with features. No. The goal is to build just enough to get it into somebody's hands and find out if you're even going in the right direction.
So, what does this actually look like? Let's say your big idea is a massive online English course. You do not need to build the whole thing. Your MVP could literally be a single trial class taught over Zoom with a simple PDF handout. It's fast, it's cheap, and it tests the most important assumption. Will anyone find my teaching valuable? Or maybe you want to start a homemade snacks business. Don't go rent a commercial kitchen and design all this fancy packaging. Nope. Your MVP is to just make a few small batches and give them to a handful of potential customers. Do they even like how it tastes? Would they buy it again?
And for something digital, like a new learning app, forget about coding for months. Your MVP could be a simple, clickable prototype that you made with a free online tool, or just a little demo with one or two basic functions. The goal here is to test the concept, not to build the entire app from scratch.
But here's the thing, creating the MVP is really just the first step. Its real job isn't just to exist. Its job is to be a magnet for the most valuable thing you can possibly get, honest-to-goodness user feedback.
And this whole process follows a pretty clear, repeatable path. First, you list out everything you think is true. Then, you figure out which of those beliefs is the riskiest, the one that would kill your whole project if you're wrong. You build a simple MVP to test that one thing, get it in front of real users, and then, and this is the most important part, you just shut up and listen. And when you're listening, you're going to get all kinds of feedback. The positive stuff, it feels great, sure, but the negative feedback, that's where the real gold is. That's what tells you what you need to fix. And suggestions for new features can give you ideas you never would have come up with on your own. It is all valuable. Here's a perfect example of that learning process in action. Let's say you assumed students wanted these long, 2-hour deep dive classes. But after your trial class MVP, the feedback was loud and clear. I'm way too busy for a 2-hour lesson. So you adapt. You improve the idea by offering shorter, punchier sessions. See? You didn't fail. You learned.
And that cycle, learn, adapt, repeat, that is the real secret to success. It's not about having a flawless idea from the start. It's about having a process to turn a pretty good idea into a truly great one.
Now, there are a few common traps you need to avoid. A huge one is only asking your friends and family for feedback. I mean, they love you, so they're probably not going to give you the honest truth. Another big mistake is ignoring negative comments because they sting a little. And finally, building an MVP that's way too complicated totally defeats the purpose of being fast and cheap.
So, if you take anything away from this, let it be these key points. Your assumptions are just guesses until you have proof, and MVP is your tool to get that proof fast. All feedback, especially the tough stuff, is a gift. And this whole thing isn't a one-time event, it's a constant cycle that leads to building something people actually want. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Forget about the grand 5-year vision for just a second. Think about that one core belief that your entire idea is resting on. Now, what's the absolute smallest, simplest, fastest thing you can do, maybe even today, to find out if you're actually right?